A claps.
Poppin' Tea Squad, it's me, Keisha, aka Color Me Pynk, and I'm here with this week's All Tea, All Shade, Grown in Gospel, Season 1, Episode 3 review. Everything that I say is for entertainment purposes only and not to be taken seriously or literally, meaning my jokes. So if that works for you, let's get into this review. The episode begins with Bree talking to Jay Brooks about Elijah on FaceTime because, you know, she's been put off by him since the moment they met. She doesn't like how he always got something smart to say and picking on her and stuff. So Jay Brooks was like, you know, that's just how he is. He's very supportive, though. He likes to press buttons, but, you know, start dishing it back on to him. And I understand that, you know, but we grown. Ain't nobody got time to be around people that are negative and make you feel some type of way or make you feel uncomfortable. Like, when you grown and you don't have to be around people, you choose not to. We're not in high school where I gotta see you every day until we graduate. I'm not doing that. I'm not playing that type of game with no grown tail man that should know how to act accordingly and know how to respect women and just people in general. Then we see Nikki and Tasha go to get waxed. Nikki wants Tasha to get waxed because Tasha's husband, Veron, is coming into town so they can have a conversation. And Tasha want to get her coochie pounded. There's no other way to put it. They're separated, but she want to have relations. That cat is meowing. And just because she's a woman of Christ doesn't mean she don't got needs. And she needs her husband to fulfill them, okay? After that, we then see Elijah enlist this woman named Gwen Fox help him with Bree's photo shoot. They want to change her hair and her look and everything. And I think Bree looks beautiful the way that she is. I love Bree's hairstyle. I love the way she looks in her confessionals. Her makeup is done tastefully. Her outfits are, you know, a little revealing, but not overboard. They are current and stylish. Honestly, truly, Bree looked the best out of all the girls on the show. Let's keep it a buck. And it's not because she's petite. It's not because she's light skinned. It's honestly because she's being herself and she's not doing too much. She looks up to date and current, like she's with the times. She don't look like the typical church people like Nikki and Tasha be looking like they got all their clothes from Kohl's and then bedazzled them. I'm sorry. So y'all need to leave Bree alone. So Bree arrives and, you know, she's very hesitant, you know, because she's still feeling some type of way about Elijah and she just don't know what she's going to get. I was surprised she even did it because I wouldn't have did it. I'm pretty sure that the producers had to talk her into doing that because who are you to think that you need to help me with my look? Somebody needs to help you with yours. How about that? Okay? Because ain't nobody knocking down your doors to put you on the runway doing Fashion Week, darling. So she arrives and they sit down and have a conversation. He says that he doesn't understand why she blew up and cried at the birthday party. And I'm like, what? How can you not understand? You put this girl's shoes in the trash with icing and stuff all over it. That was not yours to do. That was her belongings. Like, what? Like, he need to be knocked upside his head. Maybe the bleach is getting to him. So Bree was like, you know, it was a buildup of all these different things that you were doing. Elijah was like, you know, I was just trying to get everyone to celebrate Bree, but the decorations were horrible. Ooh. And so Bree was like, that's your opinion and nobody asked you. Opinions are like buttholes. Elijah's like, but some are bleached. Now that was funny. That was funny. And Bree was like, but they both stank. So it really don't matter. Okay. And once again, like, you just telling this woman that her decorations were bad and ugly and this, that, and the third or whatever. Your video was cheap. How about that? You look like you was performing in a school auditorium. So once again, you can't talk about nobody. So Elijah was like, you know, it's a level of excellence. I'm going to push my friends to greatness. And Bree was like, but do you think you can push people to the edge? And he was like, no, I don't care if you hate me. There's greatness in you, Bree. Okay, I think Bree knows that there's greatness inside of her. I think she knows that. And Elijah in his confession was like, if you want to be in this business, you got to look the part. And most definitely, you got to look the part if you want to be around me. Sir, you don't even look the part. Oh my God. Like, the delusions of grandeur is just out of control. Tasha visits Bree at her home to catch up with her and to see how she's doing after the birthday fiasco. And Bree honestly feels like they can relate on a lot of things because they both have had very gritty pasts. And this goes back to what I was saying to you guys on the first episode, that I was shocked how Tasha was dissing her in her confessions and stuff, knowing that she herself, you know, doesn't have a clean past and, you know, they've been through stuff and should be more understanding of the things that people may be going through, you know, or just cautious period of not talking about folks when you don't know what they struggling with. So we find out that they both went to hair school, so they had that in common. And Tasha actually used to sing in strip clubs behind her family and church's back, and went to church high. They both went to church high. She went to church, Tasha, with liquor in her bottle before and everything. And Bree then admits to dancing actually in the strip club. And she says the reason why was because once her parents were divorced, she said, my mom went through massive depression and had to figure out how to get her independence. She went back to school to finish her bachelor's. I'm seeing her struggle. Tasha says, you were stripping, trying to help your mom. And she was like, absolutely. I felt like I was being a burden. I literally had to disconnect myself while doing it. You know, I was being all around these beautiful women naked, and it brought up all these feelings of same-sex attraction. And Tasha was like, I dealt with that too from the age of 14 till around 18 or 19. And they both become very emotional. They're crying, and then they pray afterwards. And I was like, see, y'all had more in common than y'all didn't. And you were sitting up here judging this girl, talking about her looks and her hair and all of this stuff. And y'all in the same boat, in the same dang on boat. And Bree is like the nicest person ever from what we have seen on this show. So the day of the photo shoot comes, child. And they doing Bree's hair and makeup. They done slapped a wig on her head, child. Pulled out these god-awful outfits that I don't know where they got them from. They had to have gotten it from some little Rudy Poop boutique store in Detroit, child. And Bree taking these photos, and she was like, I just knowing that they just gassed me up because everybody tells you look good, da-da-da-da-da. And she was like, I know y'all just saying that because y'all want to make y'all self feel better because y'all know I look a fool. But she was like, once I looked at the photographs, I was like, oh my God, is that me? Y'all look at the picture. Now, why they do this to this lady? Why they got this wig sitting up there like that on her head? That looked like when people first started wearing wigs about 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, child. If you looked at this picture, you would not tell me that you thought that this was a picture from 2022 or 2023. You would look at this photograph and think that this picture was from at least 2009. Bree looked like she is in a Dime Diva magazine. This picture looked like it came out of the P movie Booty Talk, the Booty Talk series. Baby, this is a hot, stinking mess. A mess. This wig is horrible. Horrible. It ain't even a lace front, Jesus. The makeup is what it is. It's giving Hustler magazine, but all right. This top, this little bustier, it washes her out. If anybody knows how to style, you would not put on a nude bustier on somebody that is as fair skinned as Bree, and then with a pair of white jeans, and then have her stand in front of an aluminum foil background. Y'all, if y'all don't get out of here playing with this woman, please stop playing with her. She looked better when she walked in with just her street clothes on. After that, we see Tasha meet up with Shayna to discuss why she was talking about her marriage. But Shayna is late and Tasha is annoyed. Shayna arrives finally. Mind you, Shayna's pregnant. And before they even start the conversation, Shayna decides they need to pray first. Meanwhile, she's praying. Tasha sitting there looking like she could care less about whatever she's saying. She trying to get down to the nitty gritty. Like, she had an attitude off jump. So Shayna says that, y'all just making stuff up. Like, she feels like they're lying on her. This never happened. Tasha was like, it was brought to me. Like, why would you bash me to Shayna? I'm like, what are you talking about? I was told you sat in her truck running me to the ground. I said I did have a conversation with Shayna, a brief one. That's what made me believe it, because I'm like, we did talk. You don't automatically want to believe that your husband is lying. And so apparently her husband was the one that came to her saying that she was talking bad about him to Shayna and all of this, that, and the third. But Shayna is saying that Tasha never came over to her house. They never had a conversation about her husband. So she don't know what in the heck Veron is talking about. So Tasha is like, I just don't automatically want to assume that my husband is lying. And Shayna was like, well, you should have texted me or called me when it happened. And Tasha was like, I couldn't, because he told me don't say nothing because he didn't want to start anything. And that would have gave me a cause for pause, because why wouldn't you want me to say something? You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of looking at the husband sideways, like, what is going on here? Like, where is this coming from? Somebody lying. Either Shayna lying or the husband is lying. Okay? And it's giving me the husband is lying. I honestly don't think that girl said that. I really honestly don't. Shayna just keep on saying, like, y'all are making up this stuff. Like, what is going on? Tasha was like, well, maybe I shouldn't have jumped to conclusions, but you got to understand the position I was put in and who it was coming from. I hope one day we're able to build on something and develop a relationship, but it'll probably take time. And Shayna was like, yeah, because it's just beating a dead horse at this point. And Tasha was like, see, it's that energy that concerns me. And Tasha was like, I'm not trying to keep nothing going, though. That's the point. And I don't think that was a negative thing for her to say, yeah, because it's beating a dead horse at this point. Because what else can we do about the situation? I said I didn't say it. Your husband said I did. There's no way for us to prove which one of us is telling the truth. So there's nothing else that can be said. So I think Tasha needs to chill on that. You know what I'm saying? Really, honestly, truly. After that, we then see Tasha plan a romantic rendezvous for her and Veron. This is their second time being separated since they've been married. So Veron arrives, honey, and we finally get to see the husband. He a nice looking man, chocolate, got the, little natural hairstyle going, a little goatee, slender guy. He looks like the typical little young preacher. You know what I'm saying? Got the big shades on, he's giving Detroit pastor. But he's nice looking. He's not an ugly man at all. So they sit down and Tasha was like, I didn't think you were going to come. And he was like, well, I didn't either. And right then and there, that set the tone for me to feel like, yeah, on his end, he's not 100% there. There's obviously issues on the table that needs to be addressed. So Tasha says to him, I don't think I was ready to be married to someone like you. And she was like, I got a gift for you. So she goes and get this box, and in it is a lock. And she says she's giving him this lock because she feels like she betrayed his trust. And we don't know what she's talking about at this point. And then she gives him a t-shirt that says, stop drinking, because a lot of the things she did came from overindulging in alcohol. So we now know that she's had an alcoholism problem. And that's one of the things that I pointed out to you guys also on the first episode, that she suffered from addiction. So she gives him the gifts in hopes that he'll give her another chance with their marriage. So he then in return gives her a gift, and it's a Swarovski watch. And he says he's giving her that because he doesn't know where they'll end up or how things will be, but time will tell. And I was like, okay, it's obvious he cares about her. It's obvious that he still has some form of feelings for her, but he needs time. You know what I'm saying? That's where I was giving. Like, there's still pain, there's still hurt there, and he needs time. So she was like, well, I got something else for you. So she gets up from the table and goes and changes and comes back out in something sexy, honey. She done put on a little number and some red high heels. And she says that, he's told her on several occasions how much he likes her legs and her boobs. So she comes out and she, standing in the doorway, and Veron just shaking his head and was like, only you, only you. And you could tell that he was embarrassed, not embarrassed by her, embarrassed by the situation, because they're on camera. It's a camera crew in the room, a chef in the room, and my wife has come out in something sexy, and he's a man of the cloth. So you could tell like he was kind of like red in the face, like, oh my God, like this is a lot for me. And she had already stated earlier that he's a private person. So I'm like, if you know he a private person, girl, why would you do this on camera? Why on God's green earth would you do this on camera? I'm uncomfortable now. And I wanted you to get some. So Tasha was like, are we still married, Veron? I want you to lay this oil on me. And he turned his head. And this is this is the picture. He turned his head and like, I'm not engaging. Like, this is not happening. I'm going to just pretend like this is not going on. And maybe she'll walk back in the room and go put her clothes on because this is not happening. Jesus, what is happening? What is happening? What is happening? So she then goes over to the table and holds out her hand to him, and he does not take it. So of course now she's embarrassed and she just holding her hand out. And she was like, really? And he was like, Tasha, like just shaking his head. So in her confessional, she says, I'm like, is it because the chef is here? Like, why he acting like this? So Veron was like, I thought this was just going to be a conversation. I didn't know it was going to lead to this, or was this your expectation? Now, at this point, he has finally taken her hand, at least, child. Whew, Lord. And so Tasha in her confessional was like, the feeling of rejection brought a lot of memories back. When we first got married, I would spend a lot of money on lingerie and come out of the room and he wouldn't even look up from his phone. Now, that could play into a lot of things. Now, she said that she had an alcoholism problem. Maybe he was turned off by that and didn't want to engage. Or it could be something else. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't at all think that this man is homosexual. I don't. Maybe he has some quirks and things about his, sexual life. Maybe he's one of those straight-laced men. I don't know. But I could tell that he cares about her and that he feels for her in a romantic way. I could tell that by the look in his eyes. From the look in his eyes, there was a lot of sorrow, hurt, and pain. And I could tell that. So now at this point, Tasha in her feelings, she's embarrassed. She knows it. Not only is she embarrassed because he rejected her, but he rejected her in front of the camera crew, the chef, and in the back of her head, she knows that the whole entire world about to see this, and she really worked herself up for this moment, put herself out there, and it didn't work, but once again, I'm like, you already said that the man is private. So why would you do this, girl? Why on God's green earth? You could have waited till the camera crew left. So she sits down and she was like, I just wanted to have one good night with you. I'm going to do something though. And Veron was like, but you're getting upset. She was like, no, I'm not upset. I'm going to do it because most people wouldn't do it. And I'm like, what's she talking about? And so she was like, I apologize for having an affair on you. And I was like, oh, sookie now. That's what was going on. Okay, now it all makes sense. So she was like, I can't go without love, hugs, kisses, or sex because I deserve those things. I was willing to see past all the bad in you and still love you. But at the first sign of hardship, you completely shut down on me. That doesn't justify my actions, but I didn't wake up one day and say, I'm going to cheat on my husband. I won't allow anyone to hold anything over my head. I will say it first. And Veron was like, okay, we can cut now. And she was like, yeah, you can come unmic us. And they get unmiked. And it looked like both of them were crying because both of them were wiping their eyes. But I'm like, what she mean? I'm going to say it first. Was it a situation where he was holding that over her head about her cheating on him and was threatening to expose her? Because her saying, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it first. I'm going to tell it first. You won't hold anything over my head. That's what it's giving me. And if that's the type of thing that he doing, then why would you even want to be with somebody like that? You know what I'm saying? I think it's a situation though, when she finally said it and said it on camera. If that was the case, now she didn't beat him to the punch, and he can't hold that over her head. And you can tell that he was embarrassed. You can tell there was sheer embarrassment on his face, because it was looking like, dang, now the whole world gonna know my wife cheated on me. We ain't having sex. Like, now people gonna be looking at me like, what's going on with me? You know, what's going on with him? It's obviously more to this story. I want to learn more about Veron, because Veron got some stuff with him. I'm going to ask Sheridan about it, because, you know, Sheridan know more about, you know, the gospel community than I do, because that's the world that she's in. So you guys make sure that you head over to Life with Sheridan, my good friend, my bestie's channel, because she does reviews on gospel. I mean, grown in gospel as well. But this was a heck of an episode. I'm going to give it an A. You know, I'm really loving to see more about these cast members' personal lives. And I really want to know more about Tasha, honey, and Veron, because this marriage is all over the place, child. Woo! Y'all let me know what y'all thought about the episode down below in the comment section. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.